All right, we're gonna go through a bunch of exponent questions. Let's do this first one, this one. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna apply this exponent to all the things inside. So it's gonna become a negative 2, b negative 4 times a 4, b negative 1, right? Then we have multiplication. When we do multiplication, the way that it works is that we have to actually add the exponents. So the a's get added together, and that's going to turn into a to the power of 2. The b's get added together, and that's going to turn into b to the negative 5. And that's it. That one's done. Let's do c next, right over here. I am not going to apply this exponent first. I'm going to simplify by subtracting by doing the division first. So we do c squared negative 2 to minus 4 because it's division. So it's going to be c negative 6. The d's is going to change into d 15 because when you subtract the negative, it's like adding, so it becomes d 15. All of that's still the power of negative 1 over 3. When we apply that exponent, it's going to end up becoming c to the power of 6 over 3 positive, and d to the power of 15 over 3, but it's negative. We're going to simplify those exponents, so it becomes c2 and d negative 5. We don't like having negative exponents, so this is actually going to become c squared over d 5 on the denominator. And that's done, because when we have a negative exponent, it moves to the denominator. Or if it's in the denominator, up to the top. Let's do this one right here. So 13 divided by negative 52 is actually the same as 1 over negative 4. Then I'm going to look at all the terms one at a time. We have x to the 3 minus the negative 2 is like adding, so that becomes x to the 5. The y becomes y negative 3 because we subtract, and the z negative 2 minus 2 gives me z negative 4. Now again, these negative exponents, we don't like to have them, so we're going to move them to the denominator. So it's going to become y cubed on the bottom and z squared on the bottom. Cool, and that's done. The last one we'll do right here. Let's erase this so we have some space. Cool. So let's do the numbers first. Negative 18 divided by 3. It's going to become negative 6. A negative 1/2 at minus 5 over 2. So it's going to be negative 1/2 minus 5 over 2 gives me negative 6 over 2, which is the same as negative 3. So I have a to the negative 3. And then we have the b's. So negative 5 minus negative 3 is like b minus 5 plus 3. So that's just b negative 2. And again, I'm going to move these both onto the denominator. So it becomes negative 6 over a cubed b squared. And we're done. These questions work the same way. The only thing that's different about them is instead of having like x and y's, we have something like 3/4. But as you can see, both of these are essentially the same. It's just as if we had x to the 5 over 3 times x to the 1 over 3. So we're going to apply the exponent laws. Instead of applying the exponent to each of these, which will make the question really big and ugly, we're just going to simplify these exponents first. Because it's multiplying, we're going to add them. So 5/3 plus 1/3 is 6/3, which is the same as 2. So it's going to become 3 over 4 to the power of 2. And if you wanted to simplify that, that'll become 9 over 16. Cool. Again, this question's going to work the same way, just we're going to treat this whole thing as if it was like an x. So let's subtract these exponents. So negative 7 over 2 minus negative 11 over 2 is like we're adding. So it's going to become 4 over 2, which is the same as just squared. So this becomes negative 3.5 all to the power of 2, which you can do the exponent if you want, but whatever. It ends up becoming 12.25. Cool. let's do this one. Again, it's going to work the same way. I'm actually going to do the exponents first. When you have an exponent to an exponent, that means multiply. So 8 times a quarter is the same as 8 divided by 4, which is just 2. So this becomes negative 5 over 6 to the power of 2, which is 25 over 36. Positive, because negative times negative is positive. The last one is more complicated, but just more steps. Again, all these decimals are all exactly the same, so I'm going to treat it as if it was a variable like x. Let's start by adding these exponents together, and we'll add these exponents together. Remember, this is a 1, which is the same as 3 over 3. So this becomes, let's just call it x to make it easier. 5 over 3 plus 8 over 3 is going to give me, what, 13? Yeah, 13 over 3 divided by x to the power of, remember we made this 3 over 3, so it's going to be 14 over 3. And now let's do the subtraction because we got division. 13 over 3 minus 14 over 3, x to the negative 1 over 3. And again, we don't like having negative exponents, so it's going to become 1 over x to the 1 over 3, which is, because we were using the actual number, 0.064 to the power of 1 over 3, which means that we could cube root it, and when we cube root it, we get 4? Yeah. That. 1 over 0.4. Pretty sure. So, that's the answer to all those questions.